All right, guys, I'm going to show you this project I'm working on. It's going to be a fun one. What I'm doing right now is I'm making Death Star walls from Star Wars out of plywood. I've seen other people do it online. I'm kind of doing my own version of it. We have a trunk or treat for my kids tomorrow. My son said he wanted me to make something that has to do with Star Wars. So I'm making something that has to do with Star Wars. I'm making Death Star walls. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Star Wars fan myself. So I have no problem making something that has to do with Star Wars. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm doing this on a budget. I plan on making some bigger walls up to scale at some point. My wife loves to hear that, I'm sure. But I'm doing these on a smaller scale just to see if this strategy works. And this is something, I can throw away, sell online, do a giveaway, who knows. Here we go. Let's make the Death Star walls. So one thing I will say is this is a piece of plywood I've had sitting in my garage for a long time now. It's warped, it's not pretty, but this is what I'm using. All right, we've got our 3 sections split up here. These outside sections will have lights and this one will look more like a control panel. Right now I'm just trying to figure out my spacing for the lights because this is such a smaller scale than other things I've seen from other guys. Gotta use the Milwaukee ink saw. This is like the best marker that's made. I have all the colors of those, so they're the best. All right, so now I've made my horizontal lines. We're going to have one small light in each of these. Same at the bottom if you've ever seen the movies. And then these will have a couple offsetting lights that I will be lining up on these red lines. All right, so here's where we're getting tricky. I measured from the bottom here, but I got up to 7 inches to 10.5 because this is going to be a shorter circle. And then we got our longer one here, which is going to be 13 by 8.5. Then it switches. So then we're going to have our shorter circle up at the top here. And then we're going to have our longer one at the bottom. I took a little bit of a jump here. I started drilling some holes for my bottom sections because I just know what they're going to look like. I'm going to draw a straight line from each of these here. We're going to router out these holes. Well, we had a problem. Hole saw broke. 4 more times and only one screw up. I'm just going to cover that with some wood glue, some sawdust and some wood glue. You'll never know it was there, but that's what we have to do here and here and here. And now I made my cuts on this side. Time to do them on this side. This is the exact path that I took up here. I'm writing my measurements down on an old valve that I installed at someone's house. All right, guys, here's where we're at. I did not film a lot of the jigsaw cuts. Again, I said I'm just kind of focusing on what I'm doing here, but this is where we're at. All right, my phone finally has some battery. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be painting the backdrop white. I will have my LEDs on the back side of our wall here. LEDs going down it. And then it will reflect off of the white here. Now, I'm on a budget for this. I'm only gonna have one LED on each side. If I really wanted to do this big time, which maybe when I'm done, if this really comes out the way I want it to, I might get an extra LED strip. But I'm gonna have one going down here and it will reflect off the white and project that light off the back of it. What I'm doing here now is putting my panels on. I painted the back end white. I will have 2x4s between these and plastic covering these holes. And I have this old faux brick left over from a project. That's why I always save my stuff, because I'm cutting out my little wall details with those and I'm hoping they take the paint well. Now all I'm doing is going over this with a black primer, and then I have a flat gray that's going to go over top of that. This is a primer, but flat gray is what I'm looking for. All right, so here we are painted and I'm fine with this look right now. All right, so I have an old spool of fence wire. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint it black and run it down there, and that can separate my panels, and that's simple, easy. I'm just gonna staple it on. All right, guys, here it is painted, and I'm just so happy with this. As I've said before, this piece of plywood's like probably 4 years old. It's been rained on, but I'm loving it. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to be putting this clear plastic drop cloth to cover my holes on the sides. This was like $3 at Home Depot. I'm gonna lay it out here in the sun so it can kind of get some of the wrinkles out, and then I'll be stapling it onto the back side. All right, time to get my 2x4s onto here and start boxing this in. All right, so right now I am making my box for the inside. I'm probably gonna grab some white spray paint actually and hit these edges before I seal it up. But I actually cut some 45s just to make this box look a little nicer. I was considering doing, you know, a little table saw action to make it really square, but I don't care that much. I think it looks good this way. So I've got my tarp on right now, and I'm going to start stapling on. I couldn't really get this seam out. I'm hoping I can tighten it up and kind of get rid of that. We'll see. I've missed recording a lot of stuff on this, but I got the front panel on, I got my plastic on, I got my wire coming out the back here, and where is the remote? All right, I got my lights working on both sides. That's what the inside looks like. Is it bright enough? We will see. Guys, I'm extremely happy with this project. I can't believe how well these lights project off of it. I spent about $50 in material on this. I know I used a lot of scrap stuff, so altogether, if you were to buy this plywood and do this project, you're maybe looking at like $100. I know I have a lot of tools, hole saws, all that kind of stuff, but this thing came out awesome. And I also want to thank you guys. I've hit 50,000 subscribers on here. I can't believe that. I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for following. I hope you like this project. I do a lot of stuff like this, from renovations to just crazy projects like this. So I truly appreciate you guys following Dave Doc DIY. I got some other fun projects planned out too here. So we're going to be putting up some more long videos, continuing my kitchen renovation, doing all that fun stuff. So I appreciate you guys liking, appreciate you subscribing. We got some fun stuff coming up. Until the next time, may the force be with you.